Welcome to the 37th Annual Wall of Fame Humanitarian Awards Program, presented by the Oklahoma City Public Schools Foundation. Please welcome event co-chairs, Foundation Board of Directors member from American Fidelity, Rafael Garcia, and 2019 Wall of Fame inductee, academic leader and entrepreneur, Dr. Pamela McCauley.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. It's so good to see people. It's wonderful. It is such an honor to be back on this stage. Rafael and I are thrilled to be the co-chairs for this year's Wall of Fame program. And whether you're joining us in person or watching our program on our live stream, we so appreciate your support, and we thank you for joining us as we honor this year's incredible Wall of Fame class. If you have not done so already, please begin enjoying your individually prepared snack tray. Doesn't that look just lovely?
While our attendance in the room has been limited this year to help with social distancing, we are pleased to have joining us in person and online fellow Foundation board members, Okcps school board members, and Superintendent Sean Mcdaniel. Welcome to each of you. We appreciate your guidance and advocacy as you work to help create a better educational experience for all of our students. Joining us tonight in person, we thank Okcps Board of Education members, Chair Paula Lewis, Lori Bowman, Mark Mann, and Carol Thompson. We also thank the Oklahoma City Public Schools Foundation board members who join us tonight. We invite all board members to please stand to be recognized. We thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Our students breathe life into our schools and communities, and we are excited to kick off our program with the musical talents of a senior at Capitol Hill High School. Under the instruction of music teacher Caroline Smith, please join us in welcoming to the stage Sarai Sanchez.
I won't just survive. Oh, you will see me thrive. Can't write my story. I'm beyond the archetype. I won't just conform. No matter how you shake my core, 'cause my roots, they run deep. Oh, you have so little faith. Don't doubt it, don't doubt it. Victory is in my vein. I know it, and I will not negotiate. I'll fight it, I will transform. When the fire's at my feet again, and the butchers all start circling, they're whispering, you're out of time, but still I rise. This is no mistake, no accident. When you think the final nail is in, think again. Don't be surprised, I will still rise. I must stay conscious through the madness and chaos, so I call on my angels. They say, oh, you have so little faith. Don't doubt it, don't doubt it. Victory is in your vein. You know it, and you will not negotiate. just fight it, and be transformed. 'Cause when the fire's at my feet again, and the vultures all start circling, they're whispering, you're out of time, but still I rise. This is no mistake, no accident. When you think the final nail is in, think again. Don't be surprised, I will still rise. You know it, still rise. Don't be surprised, I will still rise.
Wow. Thank you, Sarai. You are wonderful, and you are also a wonderful reminder of why we gather tonight, to continue supporting our OKCPS students and keep up the great work.
Tonight, we add 4 deserving alumni to the prestigious Oklahoma City Public Schools Foundation Wall of Fame. This 2021 class joins 92 other alumni and community leaders who have been inducted since the Wall of Fame was created in 1985. This program celebrates a long, rich history of OKCPS and highlights our alumni, who are among the nation's most influential leaders in a variety of fields. Tonight, we are proud to honor Judge Robert Bacharach, a John Marshall High School graduate and judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. We also honor Hal Smith, a U.S. Grant High School graduate who is a successful restaurant entrepreneur.
Honoree Dr. Marvin Williams is a fellow Douglas High School graduate and serves as a professor, section of maternal fetal medicine, Department of OBGYN at the University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Center. And unsung hero Anna King, a graduate of Emerson, where I also attended Emerson High School, and president of the National Parent-Teacher Association. To our honorees, I know all of the past honorees join me in saying welcome to this prestigious group of OKCPS graduates.
On screen, as you entered the room, we strolled of all of the 92 past honorees. We'd like to recognize all past honorees who join us tonight. As you are announced, please stand and remain standing. We'll recognize you, as well as those watching virtually, with a round of applause at the end. We thank you for your continued support of our Oklahoma City Public Schools. We welcome past honorees: Andrew M. Coates from Northeast, Judge Timothy D. DeGiusti from Douglas, A.J. Johnson from Southeast High School. My co-chair this evening, Dr. Pamela McCauley from Emerson Alternative in Douglas, Faye Norton from Capitol Hill, Dr. Nancy Nesbitt Nagel from John Marshall High School, Derek Scobie from Douglas High School, and Pete White from Lafayette Elementary and Southeast High School. Thank you all for joining us. We also pay tribute tonight to the honorees who left a legacy but are no longer with us. Last month, we mourned the loss of an influential and dynamic champion of OKCPS and Wall of Fame inductee from 2011, Dr. Larkin Warner. Dr. Warner served on the commission of the Foundation for OKCPS Maps for Kids Committee and as the staff director for the Foundation's Project Kids, Keep Improving District Schools. His impact on OKCPS students and staff knew no limits, and he will be missed, member of the OKC community. On screen now are the names of our Wall of Fame members who are no longer with us. Let's take a moment to pause and pay tribute. Thank you. I know each has left a lasting legacy on OKCPS and the community.
Last year's Wall of Fame program featured 4 unsung heroes. We added the unsung hero category last year as a way to acknowledge OKCPS alumni who may not always get the accolades and recognition of our traditional group. Being in a pandemic helped us see some truly remarkable people who quietly go about making the world a better place. We are delighted they join us tonight as last year. We were unable to gather and recognize them in person. They too deserve the spotlight tonight. As they join us on stage, please help us welcome Madeline Bentley, a registered nurse at Integris Health and graduate of Classen School of Advanced Studies, and she was unable to be with us this evening. A.J. Johnson, Vice President of Safety and Community Outreach at the Boys and Girls Club of Oklahoma County and graduate of Southeast High School. Dr. Nancy Nesbitt-Nagel, pulmonologist at Integris Health and graduate of John Marshall High School. And Derek Scobie, pastor at Ebenezer Baptist Church and graduate of Douglas High School. Congratulations to our Wall of Fame class of 2020.
The past 2 years dealing with the pandemic brought even more attention to the glaring inequities present in our public schools. It truly takes all of us working together to provide our students with the quality education they deserve. That is why your presence here tonight and your support of the Foundation's work is vital. Along with a quality education, our students also need our help in filling the gaps for other needs. There are many ways you can help, and we do try to make it as convenient as possible. So for as little as $10 per month, you can become a friend of the Foundation. You have to visit okckids.com to sign up for this monthly giving opportunity. And we invite your business or organization to support us by becoming a Foundation partner. Any and all support is greatly needed and greatly appreciated. Tonight, we are pleased to feature some one-of-a-kind vases created by the students at Southeast High School, led by ceramics instructor Joe Cox, and students at Classen SAS High School at Northeast, led by ceramics instructor Paul Sweeney. Thank you to Troctus Flowers for donating the floral arrangements for our centerpieces. These centerpieces can be yours to take home by leaving a check or cash in the envelopes provided or by scanning the QR code at your table with your phone to pay online. We ask for a minimum of $50 and hope you'll take one or more of them home with you tonight. We are so grateful to all of our community partners, like you, who are making a difference in the lives of our students. Tonight, we extend a special thank you to our sponsors who help make tonight's program possible. Thank you to our diamond sponsors, Dick and Glenna Tannenbaum, Edge Productions, Inasmuch Foundation, KOCO TV, who produced the honorary videos that you will see later in the program, Percy and Becky Kirk, Richardson Family Foundation, Sonic, America's Drive-In, and Skirvin Hilton, Oklahoma City.
We also thank our platinum sponsors, American Fidelity Foundation, Claudia San Pedro and Paul Sund, Crow and Dunlevy, Donna and Les Brown, Eduardo and Jody Sanchez, Love's Travel Stops and Country Stores, McLaughlin Family Foundation, and Richard C.S. Show them some love.
On screen, as you enter the room, we featured all of our sponsors, including our gold, silver, and bronze sponsors. Thank you all once again for the important role you play in filling the gaps for our OKCPS kids and their schools. And a special thank you to Dick Sias for providing the wine that we're all enjoying this evening. And now, let's take a closer look at the focus areas of the Oklahoma City Public Schools Foundation and the important work they are doing.
Leading the Foundation's mission is the President and CEO of the Oklahoma City Public Schools Foundation, Mary Malone.
Well, good evening, everyone. I have stood in this place for so many years, well, 7 years since I've been with the foundation, and it's a smaller crowd than we've had before, but I want you to know that typically we fill this room to the brim. We've done it differently this year to be COVID sensitive and to keep everyone safe, but we really do want your input on the time of day. Do we give you enough wine? Any input you have is greatly appreciated. Everyone's so quiet. So we want to get you roused up, and we really do want you to have fun. So if you need a glass of wine, raise your hand. Someone will be around. Here, JD needs a glass of wine right here. Table of... Thank you for being here. I really love our new video and the fresh new branding that we've just unveiled. In fact, this group is really the very first group to see it publicly. You may have noticed a few new features in the video, one being our new logo, and the other, as you just saw, our refreshed mission statement. Our mission is to advance excellence, advocate for equity, and build strong community support for Oklahoma City Public Schools. We very intentionally added the word equity to our mission statement. Equity is a high priority for our school district and is, in fact, the lens through which we do all of our work. There isn't a program or initiative that we take on that isn't focused on equity for every one of our students. It was important to us that we add that language to our public-facing mission statement. We fulfill our mission by staying focused, strategic, and intentionally aligned with Oklahoma City Public Schools' goals and greatest needs. I'd like to take just a few minutes to expand on our 3 focus areas. Our first focus is to provide innovative teacher, classroom, and school support. We are focused on supporting lasting change in OKCPS and continuing to elevate established programs which improve engagement efforts between school sites and community partners. Some of you are likely familiar with these established programs that include Donors Choose, which is a program that connects donors directly to supporting local classrooms. Through Donors Choose, teachers are empowered to fund supplies and grants for the classroom and beyond. The foundation has partnered with Donors Choose for 7 years now, and together with supporters and citizen donors have put more than $7 million into our classrooms that have gone to support our teachers and kids. Something we are very proud of is that we are actually Donors Choose largest education foundation partner in the country. Let me say that again. We are Donors Choose largest education foundation partner in the country because of what this community and people who advocate for public schools across the country want to do for our kids. Similarly, Partners in Action connects schools with community partners interested in making an impact. Where Donors Choose focuses on funding projects requested by teachers, Partners in Action is driven by principals and allows them the opportunity to post projects related to school-wide strategic needs. The website hosts projects related to these school-wide needs, and community partners are able to advance the quality of education across our district. Since we launched Partners in Action in 2016, we've been able to provide funding and volunteers with more than $30 million in impact. Last year, thousands of OKCPS students benefited from this community support of the Coat a Kid program. No child in need went without a warm winter coat. We hope to meet those needs again this year, and we could certainly use your help. For just $20, you can provide a new winter coat for a child in need. So we invite you to add a little extra as you pay for the vase I know you're going to want to take home with you tonight. Or you can go online to okckids.com and make a donation to contribute to this really important program. Our Read OKC initiative promotes the love of reading for the students of OKCPS and in our community. Since Read OKC started in 2017, OKCPS students have logged over 20 million minutes during our out-of-school reading challenges. Every school in our district has a little library to provide free access to books 24/7. And Reading Buddies groups made up of volunteers in the community are currently meeting virtually to continue spreading the love of reading to our students. The newest addition to the Read OKC initiative is an ADA-compliant school bus provided to us by the district that has been modified into a traveling book bus. Visits from the Read OKC On The Go book bus give each student the chance to pick out their very own brand new book to take home to build in their home library. Our second focus area is to support efforts to recruit and retain urban-ready, top-quality teachers. Our students represent such amazing diversity, and we celebrate that. 56% of our students are Hispanic, and more than 60 languages are spoken by our students. Our goal with this focus is to build diversity within our teacher ranks. We've developed 2 very successful programs, the Bilingual Teacher Pipeline Program and Diversity Teacher Pipeline Program, that allow paraprofessionals working in our district who are bilingual and of color to become certified teachers. We currently have 61 individuals participating and 6 have graduated, leading classrooms of their own. This Grow Your Own program is quite unique as a way to address teacher shortages, focus on diversity, and allow our participants to change their lives for the better. Upcoming soon, we're going to be adding a leadership pipeline as well, so you'll be hearing more about that very soon. Focusing on starting the pipeline at the beginning is what we're doing with our high school pathway program. We're working to make sure that our bilingual and students of color in high school who are interested in becoming teachers see this opportunity to have their college funded. We also support the Urban Teacher Preparation Academy, which provides valuable tools to prepare teachers for entering the urban school environment. This program, led by our partners at UCO, provides professional development and mentoring for new teachers. The retention rate for teachers who've gone through this program is well ahead of average. Providing this extra support for new teachers is really a game changer. Since the program started, we've trained 91 OKCPS teachers. And our third and final focus area is to build advocates for OKCPS. What does that mean? We work to build advocacy partnerships with state and local leaders and share both OKCPS success stories, which are so important to tell, as well as priorities for district-wide funding and other needs. All cities invest in public projects to improve the quality of life in our future. Public education is no different. If we want to create opportunities for success for all of our children, we should also invest our time, talent, and treasure in public education. I featured a number of our programs and key focus areas at the foundation, and I'm so proud of the work we're doing. I'm also so proud to work with a leader who is taking our districts to all new places. Here to share more about the work being accomplished across the Oklahoma City Public Schools District, please welcome Superintendent Sean Mcdaniel.
I was hoping she was talking about me when she was introducing me. Hey, I'm going to go off script just for a second. At the risk of her throwing a shoe at me or kicking me or something, I wanted to just publicly acknowledge and thank Mary Malone for the work that she does many times behind the scenes. There's the foundation and there's Mary, and most of the time they're together, but she goes way above and beyond. I've never went to her with something, crazy idea, something we needed, and her response was, well, I don't know if we can do that. It's always, let's figure out a way we can do that together. And so, Mary, thank you. I am happy to be here this evening to celebrate the amazing accomplishments of our OKCPS graduates. The Wall of Fame Awards event is such a perfect way to highlight individuals that have walked our school's hallways and have contributed to our district's legacy in such meaningful ways. Another thing I really like about the Wall of Fame is how recognizing our past graduates also inspires our current students. Seeing the successes of these honorees and knowing that they likely had many of the same challenges that our students face today gives our kids hope that they can do this, that they can flourish. Mary says this often, and it's exactly right. Our schools cannot do this alone. The work of the foundation is so important as they focus on programs that help fill the gaps, and they convene community partners to do the same. OKCPS is a school district with many good things happening. We've done our very best to keep our kids safe and back in school, and we're implementing numerous efforts to help them overcome the unfinished learning that we all know is there. I would put our OKCPS staff up against any team in the country. They are really that good. And there is no doubt in my mind that this team, working together with our foundation and our community, will create the world-class district that our kids deserve. Congratulations to our Wall of Fame honorees, and thank you all for being here tonight.
thank you very much, Sean. You know, I've mentioned this already. I've been in my role for 7 years. Sean, you're in your 4th year. You're in year 4. Before Sean started, I had worked with 4 superintendents. Do the math. It's not good. But we truly have a leader in Sean Mcdaniel and the amazing team that he has built that is making a difference, that is making changes, that is leading the way with vision and strategic implementation that is going to change our kids' lives forever. So thank you to Sean and your wonderful team. And together, we are all making a difference in the lives of students and teachers, but there's still a lot of work to be done. I encourage each of you to get involved at whatever level you can. Volunteer, advocate, or donate. Your support helps us continue our focused work that serves both short and long-term needs within our school district. Our students and schools' needs are as significant as they've ever been, and we are continuing our work to advance excellence, advocate for equity, and build strong community support for Oklahoma City Public Schools. Our community partners mean everything to us as we work to fulfill schools' needs, so thank you for giving however you can. We are fortunate to also have a really great group of young professionals who run a golf tournament for us and hold various events to raise money for Donors Choose and Partners in Action. They also volunteer at our events. So I'd like to thank our YP for Kids members who join us tonight in person or online. I am also so thankful for the talented group of leaders that I work closely with all through the year on the Foundation's Board of Directors and Advisory Board. Their guidance and involvement help us further our mission and our reach. Some of you are in the room tonight, some are watching online. I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for sticking with us and helping us continue to thrive in a year that has challenged all of us to do things differently. And none of the work we achieve at the Foundation would be possible without the efforts of our small but mighty Foundation staff. I am incredibly thankful for each one of them, and I'd like to ask my team members at the Foundation to please stand to be recognized. I've just shared a number of our programs and initiatives and ways you can get involved. I'd like to challenge each of you now to make a commitment on how you'd like to get involved and make a difference in the lives of our students. Your being here tonight is doing that, but there's always more, and it really does take all of us working together, but I know that we can do this. I know you're eager for us to officially kick off the induction of our amazing 2021 class of Wall of Fame honorees, so now I'm going to turn the program back over to our co-chairs. Raphael and Pamela.
Well, thank you, Mary. We're excited to begin tonight's induction ceremony with the first honoree, who is our unsung hero, a category that recognizes those who have achieved great things while exemplifying bravery and self-sacrifice. It honors those who have stepped up during a challenging time, provided outstanding leadership to the OKC community, and served as advocates for OKCPS. Join us in congratulating unsung hero Anna King. Anna is a graduate of Emerson High School, and in June she became the president of the National Parent Teachers Association, which is the largest child advocacy organization in the country. She has over 20 years of leadership experience at all levels of PTA, including Oklahoma PTA president. At the local level, She serves as a secretary for the Douglas High School PTSA and is a board member of the Douglas Law and Public Safety Academy. Besides PTA, Anna is also involved in many community activities. She is the OK MDA School Safety Co-Lead, member of the West Ed Advisory Board, and Equity Advisory member for the Oklahoma State Department of Education. Anna is dedicated and passionate child advocate and mother of 3 and proud nana of 10. Wow, 10. She believes everything is possible for all children, and being a part of an inclusive association is key to better serving the many families and communities across the country. Here's more about this honoree.
Anna and I met in middle school, 8th grade. We played basketball together.
Anna King is my best friend. We met in PTA.
We were known as Johnson and Johnson. We were the only freshman starters on the varsity basketball team. That's how our relationship began, and it's just flourished since then.
Sitting and having a conversation with Anna will improve the life of anyone. She is an amazing person with one of the biggest hearts that you will ever see.
She went through a lot through high school. They moved a lot, and so graduating was definitely an achievement for her and something that she wanted to accomplish at Capitol Hill.
And she's always talking about, being a Capitol Hill graduate.
Her time in the public schools as a student gave her perspective on things that other kids may also be going through that people have no idea about.
Her first getting truly involved with being a leader in PTA, and that was at Douglas High School when her daughter came home and didn't have any books.
That's what made her get involved in PTA. That's what made her study PTA.
She's like, what's going on here? And she goes to the school and she talks to them about books, and they say, well, we don't have them. And so she got parents together. They went to the school board and said, where are our kids' books?
That was her passion, to just make sure that the school was engaged with the community. And she talks about community engagement a lot. It's not just about teaching the kids, it's about getting the families involved. And if there aren't families, then you need to make sure that you're reaching out to that child.
In everything that she does, anything that has to do with youth, she's always about how do we bring the youth voice in.
She learned a lot. Then she became the state PTA president of Oklahoma, but now she is the national PTA president.
I think it's a testament to how relatable people view her, how approachable people view her, and how much of themselves that they may see in her.
I mean, if you meet her, she's going to ask you if you want to be a member of PTA. I can guarantee it. And by the time you leave, you will be a member of PTA.
The work that she does around kids and just making sure they're at the table is amazing.
Just watching her be so passionate about what she does is enough to make anybody want to get involved in PTA.
She had a great role model in her mom. Her mom was a person who stood up for everybody. She marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. That's where I think her advocacy and servant leadership is embedded in her through her mom.
Not only is she fighting for her grandkids now, but she's fighting for other kids that may not have someone fighting for them.
She's just this amazing, humble human being that almost sounds like a fictional character if you didn't know her in real life.
As she makes her way to the stage, help me in congratulating our Wall of Fame unsung hero from Emerson High School, Anna King.
They just made me look really cute. Hi, everyone. How are you? Good. I'm so humbled to be here. When my family moved here, we moved from Colorado to North Highlands in 1978. Being honored to attend Oklahoma City Public Schools would have never crossed my mind. My siblings and I attended Quail Creek, elementary. And I remember my very first day of school when I was in the 4th grade. We were bused to the school, and as we pulled into the campus, we were met by parents yelling and telling us to go home. It was because they didn't say that we belonged there, that we didn't belong inside their school. Many of us survived that year. It was pretty hard, but we stuck together as a group. And I believe that I did because of what my mother continued to teach us growing up. She had a bunch of us. She made sure to provide a sense of pride, of culture and heritage, and to understand that being seen different was something that was special, and it was our strength. Having that foundation helped me navigate my experiences in Oklahoma City Public Schools, and as you heard my best friend say, it was pretty hard. Whether it was being bused across the city during high school or being told by my guidance counselor at Capitol Hill, because I went there for 4 years, bust because I lived across the street from Douglas. She said I could no longer attend the high school because I was going to be a young mother. Being grounded in who I was and who I am pushed me to finish school at Emerson, the same school that this beautiful lady graduated from too. One of my saving graces in Oklahoma City Public Schools was playing basketball and running track. Not only did playing basketball give me something to focus on, but the coaches who were invested in me, they invested in me, not just on the court, but definitely in the classrooms. They believed in me and they pushed me to be my very best. Although I attended Oklahoma City Public Schools, it was my children attending Oklahoma City Public Schools that helped me strengthen my advocacy voice, found my niche. I became a member in PTA when my daughter was, Janae, who happens to be here with me today, was in the 3rd grade. When Janae was in her 9th grade at Douglas High School, I became an advocate for not just my children, but for everyone in her school. I was surprised to learn that Miss Cooks, who was the principal at Emerson when I went there, was now the principal at Douglas. Ms. Valine Cooks always encouraged her students at Emerson to do their best and face challenges head-on despite what others thought. Who knew I would be empowered by the same principal many years later at Frederick A. Douglass High School? She encouraged me, she engaged me, not to be just the voice for my daughter, but for every one of her classmates. What made her special and unique is what she invited me to attend trainings and conferences to help strengthen my knowledge in the public education system and to encourage me to run for the PTS president right there at Frederick Douglass High School. Ms. Cooks, Dr. Rochelle Converse, Alexis Combs, and many others that worked in the school district for Oklahoma City Public Schools challenged me to be better and to do better for our families, our schools, and our communities. And that is so important. Our children need us to be advocates for them. All of them. Every one of them matter, regardless of who they are or where they come from. And I'm so grateful for the time I spent in Oklahoma City Public Schools and the time that I continue to spend advocating for the students not only in my beautiful district, but across the country. My experience in Oklahoma City Public Schools as a student, as a mother, and now a grandmother of 11, has taught me resilience and patience. I have met and made many friendships with some amazing teachers, coaches, staff, superintendents, community leaders, school board members, and most importantly, our students, who now call me Mama King. We want our children to be successful. We need them to be successful. They're our present and our future. As Frederick Douglass once said, we have to do with the past only as we can make it useful for the present and for the future. That means something to me, and I know it does for you. I'm extremely humbled and honored to be inducted into the Oklahoma City Public Schools Foundation Wall of Fame. Thank you. I wouldn't be the servant leader that I am today without the support of my family, who sits at this table, my dad, my daughter, my grandson, my husband, one of my closest friends, Dee. My family again around the country, but most importantly, my faith in making a change and a difference. It's going to take us to get it done, and thank you for having me.
Wow, Anna, you're amazing. Congratulations. So moving. Our next honoree is Judge Robert Bacharach. A graduate of John Marshall High School, the Honorable Robert Bacharach currently serves as a judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. After graduating from Washington University School of Law in 1985, he served a 2-year law clerk for then Chief Judge William J. Holloway, Jr., formerly of the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. Following his clerkship, Judge Bacharach joined the ranks of Oklahoma City's Crow and Dunleavy, where he practiced in a variety of areas, first as an associate and then as a shareholder. While at Crow and Dunleavy, Judge Bacharach regularly volunteered to perform pro bono work and also found time to serve on the board of directors of Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Oklahoma. In 1999, Judge Bacharach joined the Western District of Oklahoma as a federal magistrate judge, where he served in that capacity until 2013, when he was nominated by President Barack Obama to serve in his current seat as a judge for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. Here's more about our honoree.
I've known Bob Bacharach, Judge Bacharach, for 47 years. We became friends in high school at John Marshall High School in Oklahoma City Public School.
We actually met in the Oklahoma City Public School system, John Marshall, and so he's probably been, or he has been, my very best friend for almost 50 years.
And we quickly bonded because we joined the debate teams. And so we traveled around the country, and particularly in Oklahoma, almost every weekend during the school year.
Oklahoma City Public Schools provides you with options, right? There are so many different avenues you can go down, and he happened to fall into his.
One of the things that I think that Bob took away from high school was his open-mindedness about other types of people that weren't like him. He learned about the value of diversity. I'm sure his family was that way beforehand, so he had an easy transition into it. But it was not easy during those years, and so I think it helps him with looking at problems and people in a different kind of way than somebody that's been in kind of a monolithic educational system without a lot of diversity.
It led him to a great career. It led him to, I think his closest friends are still those people he met in high school.
He worked as a law clerk initially for the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the court that he now sits on. Before that, he spent 13 years, I think, as a federal magistrate judge, which is 2 steps below what he is now. He leapfrogged over the district court.
And I think he found what he really would love to do, and that's be a judge, and I think that's impressive when you can find something you're passionate about.
He doesn't just want to decide a case, he wants to dig down into the case and decide what's really right.
But I think he would be the first to tell you that it wasn't all smooth sailing, that he had to work hard. And that is true. He's a ridiculously hard worker.
I think he's probably the hardest working lawyer I have ever known, and still one of the very kindest, and that's not a common set of traits.
I think if you're one of 179 of anything, let alone a Court of Appeals judge, I think that's pretty high praise and pretty high accomplishment.
If I didn't know him so well, I'd think he doesn't ever sleep or doesn't ever do anything fun, but he does.
Personally, I think he's just a great human being, and I think he really would pride himself on being a great husband and father. And
his family would have to come first. His parents were terrific. I spent a lot of time in high school and college with them at their house. They had a great swimming pool.
he's always there for you as a friend.
He came to see me in the hospital a couple of times, and he just didn't think twice about it. Of course he was going to come see me. And so that's kind of the compassionate nature that he has.
You know, I think it kind of all really started in high school, and I think the public school system, Oklahoma City public school system, has a lot to do with that, and should be proud that he came out of that system.
As he makes his way to the stage, join me in congratulating Wall of Fame inductee from John Marshall High School, Judge Robert Bacharach.
Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to the Foundation for Oklahoma City Public Schools for this wonderful, generous evening. I'm also very grateful to my family, my wife, Rhonda, the love of my life, my partner in life for the last 27 years, and who will remain my partner in life for the remainder of our days. My wonderful daughter, Olivia. Wonderful daughter, a wonderful person that you are. My mom, my dad, may you rest in peace. These are the four people that are responsible for every good thing in my life. When I was 14, I was in a private school, and my parents were spending a lot of money on my education. But for some reason, I'm not really sure why, except I was rebellious without any reason to be rebellious. I thought for some reason that it was cool to make bad grades. My mom came to know my principal very, very well. My mom and dad very wisely decided to take a different path for their son and enrolled me in John Marshall High School, and it was there that the trajectory of my life completely changed. It was at John Marshall High School that I found myself in a debate class, and I met three very important people as a member of that debate class. One was my very good friend, my colleague, one of my best friends for roughly 40 years, Rob Romana, who was the very kind soul that nominated me for this wonderful evening. There was also my two lifelong friends, Kevin Gordon and Chris DeAngeli. Kevin and Chris were about my age, but they had different aspirations. They didn't think it was cool to make bad grades. They thought it was cool to make good grades, and they tried very hard successfully to make very good grades. And I started questioning why I thought it was so cool to get an F in algebra. And for the very first time, because of my new role models, Chris DeAngeli and Kevin Gordon, I started for the first time to try to do well in school. And at John Marshall, there was an abundance of teachers who wanted nothing more than to help young, rebellious kids like me. They wanted to make a difference in our lives, and they did. There were people like Harold Hammond, 29-year-old man who was our debate coach in 1975, 1976. He believed in each one of us on the debate squad, and so we started believing in ourselves too. He worked weekends, he worked nights, helping us. So in spring break of 1976, when it came time to prepare for the National Forensic League debate tournament, which was, for us, the most important time of the year, we knew that he would be with us night and day over at Kevin's house, practicing, constructing arguments, but he wasn't. And we had no idea why until about a week later, the night before the debate tournament, when we found out that he had been murdered the week before. Mr. Hammond never knew that he deeply impacted my life and inspired me to become a lawyer. He and dozens of other teachers like Mr. Hammond, like Mrs. Coe, my social studies teacher, or Mrs. Lee, my English teacher, Mr. Botkin, my math teacher, and dozens of other teachers like Mr. Hammond, Mrs. Coe, Mrs. Lee, Mr. Botkin, worked tirelessly to make a difference in our lives. In the last half century, there have been thousands of Mr. Hammonds, of Mrs. Coe's, of Mr. Botkin's, of Mrs. Lee's. People who have decided to spend their lives changing the trajectories for generations of school kids. And it's them who we truly honor tonight, along with the organization that makes it possible, the Foundation for Oklahoma City Public Schools. So it's to the Oklahoma City Public Schools. It's I who thank you for changing my life and the lives of thousands of others.
Lovely words, lovely words. Next, we honor Douglas High School graduate Dr. Marvin Williams. Since 2008, Dr. Williams has served as a professor in a section of maternal fetal medicine for the Department of OBGYN at the University of Oklahoma Health Science Center. Just saying, that sounds pretty impressive. In 1994, Dr. Williams began his service as an active duty U.S. Army physician, which included tours of duty in the United States, Korea, and Iraq. He completed his military career in 2010, retiring from the U.S. Army Reserve in the rank of lieutenant colonel. From 2011 to 2019, he served as the department's medical director and then as director of clinical services at OU Health Sciences Center. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he remained on the front lines of women's health, regularly caring for patients in hospital and clinical environments. In May of 2020, Dr. Williams was recognized as a University of Oklahoma Presidential Professor of Excellence. He has dedicated his life to public service as a soldier, educator, and physician, and proudly credits his OKCPS education as the initial catalyst of his career. Here's more about our honoree.
I met Marvin about 41 years ago, and we went to Douglas High School together. Marvin grew up in a working class household. He never had anything given to him.
I've known Dr. Williams since about 2006. I think it's important to understand that Dr. Williams came from humble beginnings. He didn't really have any advantages, but he understood the importance of his education. He worked hard throughout school, and he ultimately put himself in position to be able to impact the lives of students as well as patients, and it's really through his hard work.
The thing that impresses me most about Marvin is that he does everything so well.
Well, he's very intelligent.
Super smart.
He is demanding in a good way. He holds people to a high standard.
Dedicated, and he's caring.
And he's also very caring.
I'm not sure that the folks listening to this will have a true understanding of what it is that Marvin does every day.
He specializes in high-risk obstetrics.
He's also a teaching professor at the Oklahoma Health Sciences Center.
He's widely recognized as one of the best teachers in the College of Medicine, and that is no small praise given that there are so many good teachers within the College of Medicine.
He is recognized by these future new doctors every year as an outstanding professor.
Through his hard work, he's put himself in a position now where he can influence the lives of so many of our patients, so many of our learners. I think it's an incredibly inspiring story.
You know, he worked his way through college. He joined the Army to help in that regard, and then ended up staying in all the way through retirement eventually as a full colonel with combat tour in Iraq as a combat surgeon.
When you're around Dr. Williams, you recognize that he's a very commanding presence, and part of it may be his time in the military. But I think that with that presence and with the caring attitude I described to you earlier, there's a desire to live up to high expectations, because you know that's what he expects of you, but you also know that he knows you can do it.
I think he wears his status as a graduate of Douglas High School and the Oklahoma City Public Schools as a badge of honor, and it informs everything he does.
I know he was valedictorian of his class. He was an athlete. He was a leader there, much as he is now.
He always asks, you know, how can I improve? And he's just one of those who have that drive to always be better. The impact that he's having just day to day on the health of our community and the health of our mothers and babies really can't be measured. It's an impact that grows every single day.
As he makes his way to the stage, help me congratulate Wall of Fame inductee from Douglas High School, Dr. Marvin Williams.
Well, thank you, everyone. Whenever I see pictures and hear things like that, it makes me think of one thing that I miss the most about my time in school. I would give anything to have all that hair back. I really would. But on a serious note, distinguished guests, friends, family, I'm genuinely humbled to be selected as one of the class of 2021 Oklahoma City Public Schools Foundation Wall of Fame recipients. I'm honored to share this award with an accomplished and distinguished group. Judge Robert Bacharach, Miss Anna King, wonderful job, and Mr. Hal Smith. To my dear friend, Judge Timothy DeGiusti, thank you for nominating me for this fantastic honor. I also greatly appreciate the support of those who championed my nomination, Mr. Pete White, Mr. Larry Weatherford, and my dear friend, Dr. Carl Hansen. Lastly, I want to send a special thank you to my friends and family for sharing this beautiful event with me. Thanks, everyone. The metaphor of standing on the shoulders of giants is often used to describe how we rely and build upon the accomplishment and knowledge of others. These 6 words taken together are so incredibly powerful. Imagine, however, if the giant's shoulders did not exist for one moment. Scary because the foundation for growth and progress would be damaged and eventually cease to exist. For you all to understand why these words resonate with me so. I think it best to provide a brief bit of context. As Judge Juicy said, I grew up in a very modest home in Oklahoma City, one of 4 boys. A father who was a career Army soldier and who at that time I thought was probably one of the strictest men in Oklahoma City. My brothers would acknowledge that. Don't get me wrong. As I matured, I realized he wasn't that bad at all. And in fact, he was pretty amazing. But until that realization came to pass, thank God there was our mother, a wonderfully caring woman who provided the appropriate balance and love that allowed my brothers and me to flourish. Through it all, they were trying to teach us how to be respectable men. They instilled a strong work ethic, devotion to family, and respect for others. Our parents stressed that education was critical. Education provided us knowledge and in turn power, if applied, would allow us to change our circumstances into something much, much better. They were giants. I realized very early I enjoyed education. Because I spent so much time at school, it essentially became a second home. I made many friends, cultivated ideas, and discovered various truths by building on previous discoveries. I met teachers just like my mom and dad that created positive and affirming relationships. They challenged my intellect. They helped shape part of my social identity. They were also giants. I wish I had time to mention every teacher by name, but if I did, I know you all would run me out of here or probably send me to detention, so I'm not going to do that. But let me say that I accept this tremendous honor on behalf of all the giants who allowed me to stand on their shoulders, my educators. Also, this event would not have gone as well without the wonderful attention to detail and help from Abby Vaughn and her team. Thank you so much, Abby. Thank you. Lastly, I want to thank my family, my sons, Matthew and Miles, my loving wife, Kay. Guys, thank you so much for your support through the years. You've been my biggest fans, and Kay, when necessary, my greatest critic to help keep me grounded. Thank you, love. I also share this honor with you all. Thank you for your unconditional love, allowing me to live my best life. To everyone here, this is such an amazing event. Let's be mindful of what we can do to help those kids who are in desperate need. So hopefully, sometime very soon, they can be on this platform just like we are. Thank you so much.
Wow, how inspiring. This is amazing. Whew, congratulations again. Our final honoree is restaurant entrepreneur Hal Smith, a graduate of U.S. Grant High School. An Ardmore native, Hal began his career in the restaurant industry while attending the University of Oklahoma and working at Across the Street Restaurant. In 1973, he joined Steak & Ale Restaurant Corporation, a wholly owned subsidiary of Pillsbury, as a manager trainee before being named president and COO and ultimately chairman and CEO, as well as vice president of Pillsbury. In 1992, he ventured out on his own and founded Hal Smith Restaurants, a restaurant management company headquartered in Norman. Today, Hal Smith Restaurants operates more than 80 restaurants in multiple states. With his wife, Sandy, they founded the Norman Youth Foundation to support Oklahoma youth-oriented charities, benefiting programs like the Center for Children and Families, Allie's House, Coaches for Cancer, WIN Foundation, J.D. McCarty Center, Thunderbird Clubhouse, and the Bootstrap Program. Here's more information about our honoree.
My relationship started 57 years ago with Hal, back in '64 when we were both on an all-star softball team.
I've known Hal since 1986. I had an opportunity to come out here to Oklahoma and be a Outback Steakhouse franchisee partner with him in 1992, and we've been together ever since.
We developed a relationship that was almost like brothers.
He is just one of the best human beings I've ever met.
Everything Hal touches seems to blossom.
He's a value-driven guy. Just all the important values that you appreciate in life about people, living, relationships. He's that guy.
He was at Grant High School. He was president of the class. Anybody you talked to that went to Grant knew Hal. Even if they were freshmen, they knew who Hal was. Everybody on the south side of Oklahoma City knew Hal.
There's not a week that goes by that I don't sit down with him and he's talked about somebody he went to high school with, somebody he still stays in touch with. He works on the reunions for U.S. Grant.
You know, when you see things like that, the favor that he has, his connections, I noticed that early in, and my dad even mentioned that one day when Hal was staying with us, that that guy's got a touch.
The first thing Hal will ever say to somebody is, I'm an Okie through and through. And he is an Okie through and through. He embodies those values of what Oklahomans are. They're fun-loving, they're approachable people, they're middle America, and that's what we are. That's what he is.
I think his humility is incredible, and his confidence that he has, those two probably equal likability.
He can walk into any situation. He can make a connection with people right away.
He has all of those things going for him, and I don't know of anybody that does not like Hal or wants to have an audience with Hal and wants to be part of whatever Hal's doing.
I see what he's done for people in this community, what he continues to do for the community. He and his wife have Norman Youth Foundation, which gives back to the kids in Norman. But we also support so many other causes wherever we are, in whatever community we're in.
He's just so caring. And I mean, if you were to sit down with him, you would feel like, you know, he's a great friend, and he would do anything for you.
He built the company that he has now based upon those relationships. So you can hit any dream that you want if you're willing to be relational, let the blessings flow from those relations, and it's just incredible what you can get from that, what you can achieve with that. And I think a lot of kids in school need that now. I think they need that story of, I'm an Oklahoman and I was able to succeed in this world that we live in, despite all the obstacles. Stay focused on your goal and go out there and get what you want.
His accomplishments are endless. His recognition is endless, but he doesn't tout that at all. I mean, it just happens because he loves people.
I think he's that Oklahoman that people want to look at and say, he started here and he's achieved this, yet he's still as humble as the average Oklahoman out there. He's truly one of a kind.
Join me in congratulating Wall of Fame inductee from U.S. Grant High School, Hal Smith. Hal was unable to join us tonight, but he has shared these acceptance remarks.
Hi, I'm Hal Smith, and I want to thank the Oklahoma City Public Schools for this award and this recognition. I'm very honored and I'm very proud, and I'm just as proud being part of the Oklahoma City school system for 6 years. I lived in Ardmore, Oklahoma. We moved here when I was in the 7th grade. I started Old Classen, not Northwest Classen, but Old Classen, and I was there for 2 years, 7th and 8th grade. I met so many wonderful people, and I had 2 teachers that I remember all my life, really. One was Phil Dawkey, and he was a coach and teacher. What he did was taught discipline, and I really needed discipline. I didn't understand it at the time, but it was good. And then Sharon Butler was my English teacher. She was my speech teacher as well, and really taught me how to communicate. And I thank her every day. I have to get in front of a camera or people and talk. She was wonderful. My dad worked at Will Rogers Airport, and we had to move to Southside shortly after my 8th grade. And I enrolled in U.S. Grant in the 9th grade. I went to 9th through the 12th. And once again, I met a lot of wonderful people. They're wonderful students. To this day, both class and grant, I have so many good friends from those classes. I just can't forget. The 4 teachers that I remember the most at U.S. Grant. By the way, that was a tough school back in those days. And they sent in a new principal, C.W. Huffman, and put it bluntly, he cleaned house, and it was became a really, really neat school. So I had one of those up and down 9th grade years, and then 10th, 11th, and 12th were smooth. I had 4 teachers that I just can't forget. Ray Thompson was my homeroom teacher for 2 years. We're still dear friends today. And I look back and everybody really enjoyed his class. Ken Kofelt was my science teacher. And if you ever saw TV, it was called Welcome Back, Kotter. That's the kind of teacher he was. Everybody loved to go to his science class. So I look back on those 2. And then Don Brown was my coach in basketball and baseball. He was also a teacher, and he was a fundamental, detailed teacher. And he taught all the skills of baseball and basketball. Until I was 40 years old, I played softball and basketball, and I still used all those fundamentals. So I don't forget Don Brown. Lastly, it was Gary Lauer. Gary Lauer was my track coach, and I had asthma pretty bad in those days. And he taught me how to run long distances and build up my stamina. He really did a wonderful job with me. He also introduced me to Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And to this day, I still give as much as I can to Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and good bunch of people. I look at my 3 years or 6 years in junior high and high school, and I know, we have Hal Smith restaurants, and we have 7,000 employees. I couldn't be here today without the Oklahoma City Public Schools, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was a great ride. It still is, and I look back with fondness. Thank you.
What a wonderful group, wasn't it? Congratulations once again to our honorees. I'd like to have the entire class of 2021 honorees to please stand again so we can recognize you one more time. And please, to our honorees, don't leave just after the program. I'd like to have all of you come up here, and we're going to take a few pictures if you don't mind. So Pamela and Raphael, before you get too far off stage, I ask that you accept some gifts on our behalf. They were absolutely wonderful co-hosts, weren't they? Thank you both so much. Thank you all for joining us tonight. As a reminder, because I have to do this one more time, I'm going to tell you about these centerpieces at your tables. If you like the one that's at your table or one at a table next to you that hasn't been claimed, it can be yours in exchange for a donation to support the foundation. To purchase a vase, a cash or a check can be put in the envelope at your table, or you can scan the QR code. That'll take you directly to our site. Or you can see one of our team members at the registration desk for assistance. If you're part of our online audience, you can make a contribution at any time or become a friend of the foundation by visiting okckids.com. I leave you tonight with a quote from Marian Wright Edelman, who is an American activist for children's rights. She said, "Education is for improving the lives of others and for leaving your community and world better than you found it." Thank you all for your commitment to help make the world better for our kids. Our honorees tonight serve as proof that OKCPS students are thriving and creating positive changes in their communities and across the world. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night.